First of all, welcome in my channel, and today I'm going to tell you about my membership plan. First of all, I will provide you .NET Core video tutorial, Dapper tutorial, REST API tutorial, Angular video tutorial. Not only video tutorial, I will provide you complete source code. Okay, and it's not only a simple video tutorial; it's a project-based video tutorial. So each technology have minimum 2 projects. So guys, this is a project-based courses in all technologies, just 800 rupees. And you focus that it's not only a technology, it's a roadmap. Okay, so that is the complete roadmap of .NET Core, and that video tutorial is providing you a past deal for you. Okay, so first of all, I will provide you .NET Core and video tutorial. It's not only it's not only simple video tutorial. Again, I repeat you, project-based video tutorial. So I will cover it, all design patterns and solid patterns and architectural designs. Okay, so I will give you clean architecture-based projects. Okay, so that is .NET Core, and that .NET Core used Entity Framework Core and SQL Server. In further video, I will use ADO.NET and the Dapper, and just after that, I will use Blazor for as a front end, and Angular as a front end, and the React as a front end. So use REST API. So it's a based on project, okay, and it's a roadmap so that we can cover all the topics of the full stack development. So this is only 800 rupees. I will you just pay me 800 rupees and get all video tutorials. Okay, so day by day. And if you are belong from other country, just pay $15, and it's only a one-time fees. That is, again I repeat you, one-time fees. Just only pay 800 rupees and get the source code and complete video tutorials. Okay, so how to get the deal? Just fill this form. That is your name, your email ID, your contact number. Contact number is not necessary. Transaction reference ID, order ID, or PayPal ID. If you are belong from India, just pay using UPI ID and just add your transaction reference ID. And after that, if you are belong from other country, just use this my PayPal ID, and this is, you can use this QR code also. Okay, and submit the form. After submitting your form, you will get a notification via email, and start your journey for the membership. Okay, so just find the link of this form in your video description box. So must to check your video description box. Okay, hurry up guys, because it's a limited time deal I will provide. I'm giving. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel ASP.NET Core, and today I'm going to tell you about complete authentication and authorization via microservice project. And here we have a sample or an example and the complete authentication and authorization using JWT token. Okay, let's get started. And the first one is a single API, or you can say that it's single microservice project. That is the name student management.microservice.authentication API. So I want to tell you about the first of all, what configuration you need to add a authentication API. So first of all, we need to add a database settings. So just go for the app settings.json file. And here we have a app settings.json file. We need to add a connection string. So here we have a connection string like that default connection. Server is according to you. You can set local DB MS equal local DB. This is my database name. Sorry, my server name and database engine name. And database is server authentication DB, trusted connection is true, and multiple active result set is also make it true. Also, we have a JWT key, because you know that JWT, how the JWT run, JSON Web Token is run. JSON Web Token need a key or the secrets. Based on the secrets, we protect our tokens, end-to-end communication, you know. So just it's a simple demonstration here of the JWT. So now we just create a controller. So that is the controller, and that is the data part. Okay, so let's get started from the sequence. Here I'm using Entity Framework Core. So just add a data section here, that is the data access layer, and just create a class that is, my class name is Authentication API context. Okay, so and that Authentication API context is inherit from Identity DB context. Identity DB context use application user, and what about the application user? You can use identity user instead of application user. So application user is just like a class that is inherit from identity user class, and we have a first name in application user. Okay, so just create a constructor and just create a public DB set property that is application user to configure your application user. So after that, we need to configure our program.cs file. So the program.cs file is telling me a connection, register connection string, and add a dependency for your context file. So here we have a public builder.services.addDB context, authentication API context, and the connection string. Okay. Now here I'm using identity. So here you can use builder.services.addIdentity with the application user and identity role. Okay. And what about the user store? The user store is add entity framework store, that is authentication API context, add default token provider, that's cool. Now, okay, now in the next video, in the next chapter, I want to discuss about the controller. Okay, so after your data section is ready to go, your program CS file is ready to go, and the app settings.json file is also ready to go. Now the next part is the controller and the services. We all know that we just received a data in auth controller, so just create a auth controller here. In auth controller, we have two methods. The first one method is the register method, and the another one is the login method. Register method actually take a complex type value, that is user registration DTO. In user registration DTO, we have a DTO directory, that is the DTOs directory, and in the DTO directory we have lots of DTOs like the login DTO, login response DTO, user info DTO, and user registration DTO. Okay, now in a registration process we need to add a service also. So here we have a authentication service. Okay, that service is responsible to add your data into database table, and it's also responsible for the login. So the registration process is like that, and here we have a user registration, and authentication service is the instance name of your authentication service, and to register your registered DTO. In authentication service, we have two methods, that is register and the login. So just go for the services part, and here we have a authentication service where we just receive user registration, and that return the string values. Okay, and user login just responds back to the login response DTO. But we just send the data in form of we just send the data from API to client in the form of response DTO. So what about the response DTO is here? The response DTO is a class name where we have a result type. So in the result we just send anything because it's a type of object, and its access is default true, and message is for error messages, and the response messages you can take it in anything in the messages. So the response is what? If a string is null or empty, if a string is not null or empty, I mean to say that we have a error messages. So response DTO.isAccess is false, and response DTO.message is response, and pad request is response DTO. If it does not take any values, so I mean to say that if the string is empty in the response, so you can just, as said, a user is created. Right now, just send it okay response DTO, because IXM result we need a registration method, and it's a okay. Okay, that's cool. Now in the client, in the login method, we just use a authentication service here and user login, and we just send the login response DTO, but in form of we just send in the form of response DTO. So response DTO.result is an object type, so that send the response, and response is what? Login response DTO. Okay, in the login response DTO, we just send the token. Okay, so just explore your login response DTO here. In the login response DTO, where we have a user information that is about the user, like user ID, username, email, etc. And the token is based on the string type. Okay, we just send to the client again. So here we have response DTO.result is sent to the client during the login process. Okay, so we just send a token. So how to design a token actually? So it's a simple process. You can design a token. So here I'm using a token service, and token that we have, it's a microservice authentication API. So here we have a generate token. Okay, and also we have a generate refresh token, but refresh token is a latter part, we will cover it. Okay, so here we have a generate token with the application user. So just provide a application user and generate a token. So just go to the implementation part. So here we have a that is the token service. So just close it here, and that is the token service. Now I'm using here a token service. Okay, it's having an error message, but I resolved it. Okay, so just control dot and implement interface. Okay, that's good. Now here we have we know that as generate a refresh token. Okay, generate token, that's cool. That is the generate token is here. So here we have a application user. A application user is just passed from the during the login process. Now the information will be saved in the claims, because we need two things to create a token. The first thing is to add a token descriptor, and the next one is the token handler. So using the token descriptor where we have a subject. Okay, so subject need to add a list of claims. So here we have a list of claims with their roles. So it's a claims identity. It's a list of claims. Expiry, that is datetime.now.add days, that is 7 days. And the next is sign in credentials. Sign in credential, I mean to say that your key is encrypted first with the symmetric security key. So your key is jwt.colon.key, that is exist in app settings.json file. That is the key. Is must to add 32-bit long. Okay, and here we have a config JWT, and first to add a key in the symmetric security key, that is the encryption techniques, and after that the key will be hashed with the HMAC SHA-256 signature. Okay, now your token descriptor is ready to go. Now by using the token handler, you can just create a token, and by using the right token to convert your token into the string format. So that's cool. Now your token is ready to go and send to the client. Now let's get started with the consumer side. Your client is ready to go to consume this authentication API via the student management.ui service. Okay, we need to add a DTOs. So here we have a DTOs like response DTO. The first thing is the response DTO, that where we have a result, its success and messages. Okay, now we have a result and the success and messages. We just need to add a login response DTO, client request, and all. Okay, we need to create a authentication controller. So now authentication controller is what? Authentication controller, we need to add two methods, that is login and register. Okay, so the first interface is to do login. Okay, let's get started with the project. So here we have three tabs in the browser, or you can say separate browsers. So here we have a login interface of the UI, that is authentication login, and this one. So that is the first interface we have, that is a login interface. When we just click to submit button, but we need to add a register first. So in the UI part, so when just provided registration, so just go for the registration. So user registration is first to login authentication, and just go for the register. So here we have a register, you know that. So when we fill the name, email, password, and phone number, like the user will be created. Okay, like that. Test user, like test user at gmail.com. Okay, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and phone is like that, and just click to register. Now you can say that when we click to the register button, the API data will posted to the the client data will posted to the this service, authentication service dot register. So now let's just go to the register service first. So here we have implementation part of the register. Okay, now you can say that here I'm using HTTP service. Class is also, it's a class, and that data will be sent that in the form of client request, and data is registered DTO, content type is session, API type is post, and URL is this one is URL at helper.page URL, and this URL is actually we have in app settings.session file. So that is authentication API URL localhost 707209. Okay, and we have a authentication controller, authentication service. So authentication service, just call it send data. So just go to the definition. Here we have a implementation part. So oops, just back first and just go to the implementation part. And here we have a send data method. So just look at your registration process is here. Okay, now we need to add during the registration process, after the registration we just response is back to the succeeded, we just need to add a redirect to action, that is login page. But right now it's not a login, that is register again. I mean to say that we got an error messages here. Okay, we just clicked again and again back to this one. Okay, so let's get started first. Okay, and here I'm using HTTP service, and here I'm going to create a breakpoint here. Okay, and again just click to the register button here, and you can say that here the breakpoint is created right now, and the requested data is what. So that is the data part, and data we have a registration DTO here, test user, like that. So one by one we will just send the data. It's not a multi-part data, it's not a multi-part, so just send back to the else part. Okay, and requested data is content ingestion serializer. So by using the serialization process is completed. API part is the method, is the post method. Okay, and token is not there, so requested URI is fine. Now send back to the client, and send data is fine. Now the response code just after this one is, I think it's make it here, you can say that 400, that is the bad request is here. How to deal with the bad request? So here I'm using a bad request, post method requested URI API auth register. Okay, so we need to add reconfigure it. Okay, and we need to add authentication services like that, and here I'm using authentication controller, and just create a breakpoint here. Okay, in the authentication controller, authentication service, just back to the data. Okay, we got an error message, the request message was already sent. Okay, just run again, completely continue. Okay, just send the data again and continue it again. Okay, we just received a messages here. You can see that user registration is there, and we got these data in API. So API point is hit successfully, but I think it's got an error messages. Okay, so you know that username, your test user Gmail is already taken. That is the error messages. Username test user @ gmail.com is already taken. So we need to change the username here. So continue it. So the username test user, and we just modify it with the updated test user update, and just click to the this one and continue it again. After continue, okay, that's cool. Now the login process is ready to go to send the data. Okay, the username is what test user update @gmail.com, and that is the test @12345, and login it. During the login process, we need to send the data again to the login process and continue it. When the login is there, the test user update is logged in. Okay, so if you want to hit this authorized process, so here we have a student course detail, and we just need to just get the courses. Okay, and that is the authorized in the role in the admin. We do not hit any this point because this user does not writes anything. So in during the process, we just in a UI service, we just add a token service also. In the token service, we just save your token, get your token, and we need to add save the token. Okay, so authentication controller, that's all the process is actually a spade, and you just get all the code of your authentication and authorization with the complete token in just just fill the form and get the code.